So as you can see, my names are there, John Ogolla, my telephone, my email address, both official and personal. My qualifications, that I said earlier, is that. Let me use the presentation mode so that you only see what is to be shared. All right, I think we are ready to go now. As you can see, that's my introduction. And please stop me if you need to ask anything at any time. Or still, if you have questions, you can put them down and then we can discuss at at the end of the presentation. So that's basically my about me, what I do, what I've done, what I'm still doing. And basically all that I'll be sharing with you is based on my experience, my training, and of course, what I know as a person, both as an athlete, as a coach, as a manager, as a technical person, as a person who has managed the whole Kenyan team of about 325 athletes to the last Commonwealth Games, who has participated in the Olympics at the highest level of sports, which I believe most of you would want to be part of. And it's not impossible. Whatever you are doing at the moment can lead you to any of the sporting body or fraternity. Just depends on the connections and how you do what you're doing at the moment. So I will talk about how the sport is structured in Kenya, which you are part of. So as you can see on the screen, the highest body or the highest office that manages sports in Kenya is at the Ministry of Sports. Ministry of Sports, it's called Ministry, Moya's Ministry of Youth, Sports, Ministry of Youth, Culture and Sports. Ministry of Sports has six, they call them semi-autonomous agencies which deal with various sports issues. For example, we have the Sports Academy, which is in charge of talent identification and development. We have Sports Kenya, which is in charge of managing all the sports facilities in the country. That is like Kasarani, Nyayo, and the rest of the stadiums that you may know of. We have the Sports Fund, which is responsible for, funding all the sports activities in the country. There is a tribunal which handles all the disputes in regards to sports, whatever disputes that emanate from sports registration, quarrels or elections, and name it, anything in sports is handled at the tribunal. There is
Hello, sir. Hello.
So we have Kenya Anti-Doping Agency, which is called ADAC. ADAC is in charge of conducting education on anti-doping issues in the country, testing, prosecuting those who've been found liable for doping. I believe you all know or understand what doping is. This is the use of there are substances that are not allowed to be used in sports. Most of these increase performance. And you all know that Kenya was just about to be banned, I think a few months ago, around April, May, because of the prevalent practice in Kenya at the moment, basically from the athletics. The government stepped in and has provided money so that testing can be done, education can be done, just to, manage the problem. After Minister of Sports, we have National Olympic Committee of Kenya and Sports Council. As per Sports Council register, we have 65 different sports registered in the country, including football, name it, netball, basketball, and the rest. There are 65 registered, but I believe there are more. after the National Sports Council and National Olympic Committee. But again, it's good to differentiate between, so that you can understand the difference between National Olympic Committee and Sports Council. National Olympic Committee is in charge of Olympic sports in Kenya. I believe we have only 26 Olympic sports in the country registered. And Sports Council is in charge of all sports. So National Olympic Committee will register athletes or take athletes to take part in the Olympics and Commonwealth Games. And there are also youth Olympic Games. We have Winter Olympic Games. Yeah, and we have there's winter, there's beach, there's youth, and then the Summer Olympics, the one that we all know. It's called Summer Olympic Games. And you know very well that next year in July, we'll have Paris. We'll have Olympics in Paris, which is now the Summer Olympics, and Kenya will be sending athletes. The athletes are in the qualifying process at the moment. And for you to be in that qualifying, for you to be able to qualify, every international federation has its rules and regulations on how you can qualify. And you have to come in through a national federation, which is affiliated to National Olympic Committee, not Sports Council. Sports Council only manages all African games, world championships, regional championships, maybe continental championships. Those are under the Ministry of Sports or National Olympic Committee. And then below the National Olympic Committee or the Sports Council, we have now the national federations, which are registered by the Registrar of Sports. National federations, for you to register a national federation, you have to show that the sport is widespread in Kenya. As per the registration regulations, you need to have, county representatives. As it is now, you need to have not less than 24, which is still debatable. The Registrar of Sports does the registration of clubs, national federations, county organizations or associations. The office also registers coaches and all the technical officials in the country. So below the national federations, the national federation, for an example, would be KFF, Kenya Basketball Federation. You'll have Kenya Karate Federation, Kenya Judo Federation, Kenya Weightlifting Federation, Kenya Swimming Federation. Those are the examples of the national federation. Then we have the primary and the secondary schools. They also have an association that organizes their sports every year. Recently, we had, I think it was secondary school games in, I believe it was in Kakamega, and then they went to Rwanda and came back. And then there's now this area that you guys fall in, where there's the university, KUSA, Kenya University Sports Association, the colleges, Kenya, Kenya, what is KATI in full? Kenya Association of Technical Training Institutes, right? And then counties also have their association, they call it KICOSA, Kenya Inter-County Sports Council Association. That is local within Kenya. Now, internationally, we have regional federations. You've heard of CECAFA, Confederation of Eastern Central Africa, I think Football Association. We have like Zone 5 in other sports. Handball talks about Zone 5. Weightlifting, there is Eastern Central Africa Confederation. It's more or less what we would call in politics like the East Africa Confederation, and then there is COMESA. Yeah, those are the regional sports bodies that we have. And this would also apply to like National Olympic Committee. National Olympic Committee, they also have a zonal grouping called ANOCA, Zone 5 ANOC, Association of National Olympic Committees, that belongs to Zone 5. We have, I think, 5 zones in Africa. Sports Council also has their regional body is the East Africa Community. The national federations I've talked about, primary and secondary schools. They also have their regional confederations. I believe the universities too have. I don't know whether CATI and I think CATI, I don't know whether CATI also has, but for the counties, I'm not sure. I doubt if they have come up with a body. But they would still fall under maybe the East Africa Community, because Parliament has such a body that all the East African community countries come together during sports, to have sports activities together. So we also, after regional, we go to continental. Continental is now Africa. You would have Africa Weightlifting Federation. You would have like CAF, Confederation of Africa, football. You would have maybe Africa Basketball Association, etc., etc. And then there's the now international body that manages the continental, and continental manages the regional. The regional will now manage the countries or NOCs or specific sports, depending on how the affiliation structure is in that sport. So international is where FIFA comes in, where international, maybe weightlifting, international basketball, volleyball. So every sport has a country registration, a regional registration, continental registration, and international registration. So after international, now you'll have the bodies like the IOC. IOC is the International Olympic Committee. We have the IPC, which is International Paralympics Committee, a body that is in charge of running disability sports. And then we have the Deaf Olympics or the Special Olympics that also runs sports to do with people who are deaf. As I mentioned earlier, IOC has 3 different international events, which is the Olympics, called Summer Olympics, that is usually conducted between July and August. And then the Winter Olympics, which is done earlier, I think around February, March, January, February. And then the Beach Games. Beach Games is a new version that has come in. I think the first one was held in 2019. The second one was to be held this year, but unfortunately it didn't take off. It was to be in Malaysia, and I think due to financial difficulties, Malaysia pulled out, and the time was too short for another country to come in. So basically, that's how sports are organized in the country, the region, continentally, and international. So your role as a sports officer. I believe all of you are sports officers charged with running, managing, directing, and controlling sports activities in your country. If I'm not wrong, as per the information I got, that you are all sports officers, and I know you also double as coaches. So in your duty, you need to do a lot of planning, which I know you do. And planning is quite wide, depending on the activity, or depending on what you want to achieve. What you want to achieve will depend on your goal as an institution or as CATI. For example, you want to increase the number of sports activities in your college or in your institution. So you have to think on how you're going to recruit. You need to think about the facilities that are going to be required, and of course you have to maybe let the management know You have to think about the equipment that you will require, you know. So you have to plan for it. You can't just wake up one day and say, today you want to start playing soccer without the marketing or talking to the management where you want the soccer field to be. And if there's a soccer field, the goalposts, the balls, the nets, the markings, probably a referee, somebody that would act as a referee or a coach. So once you do your planning and you are ready, and if probably some cash is needed, you've secured the cash to organize everything, you'll assign responsibilities and tasks. If you have a department that has more than 2, 3, 4 people, or if you are just a man, a solo, you are solo in your department, you'll have to find a way of working with others to help you just accomplish that task. So as a manager, I'll take you as a manager, or your role is more of management. It's not more of coaching. If you're the sports officer, because you're the person in charge of all the sports matters and activities in your institution. You have to know how to direct or staff your department. Direct means you have to make people buy into whatever plan that you have. If you are a leader, you're supposed to be able to sell people your vision. People, the management or people below you or people across your level must understand you're supposed to be able to, convince them and make them see whatever you are seeing, so that the project can succeed. And this also depends on even activities that you have or hold in your institution. You cannot run an entire event by yourself. You need people to support you. And when you need people to support you, you need to assign roles. Of course, you need to come up with a plan, assign tasks, and then be able to monitor and follow up on those tasks so that everybody does what you want them to do for you to be able to achieve your goal. There's also what we call control, that is monitoring and making corrections. As a sports officer, you're supposed to be able to have a general overview of the activities that are ongoing in your institutions. If it is a tournament, you need to know where the sanitation, you need to organize for sanitation. If it's a big tournament where there's adequate parking, security, the personnel that are involved, if there are trophies, if, you have to sell the idea to the management because you need their presence there. Yeah. So such kind of things, they may look minute, but if you take your time carefully to go through each and every step, then you'll be able to, be successful in terms of your role as a manager. So in performing your roles, you provide leadership. You are the finance guy because it's you who comes up with the budget, planning. You're the one who will be accounting for it. In case of any conflicts, you will be reporting to the management or to your superiors. Yeah, it's you to motivate people. It's you to make people buy into your vision or mission so that they can support you. Finance is key. At the beginning of the year, I believe you guys are asked to come up with a budget, and that budget has to factor in all the activities that you'll undertake throughout the year, so that you're not caught up with the lack of finances. If you do a good and a proper planning that is clear and understandable to everyone, I believe the management will support you. And of course, nobody will give you money if you don't account for it. So whatever money that you get for any activity, you should be able to account for it. First of all, budget. And for you to budget, you have to know the key areas or the key issues or items that needs to be purchased in. That is material and personnel, or even facilities or equipment. I know you guys are involved a lot in managing sports events, either internal or external. I'm told there's an event that is upcoming for the technical colleges. So should you be charged to manage one, then as I've listed down here, you need to be sure of the venues are appropriate and are in good condition, to undertake or partake the activities that are intended to be competed upon. The technical, I mean the referees or the officials who will run these various sports or the sport that is being competed. The budget, as I mentioned, the key budgetary line items that you must take care of. Water, sanitation, if venues are to be paid for, transport, support staff, lighting, etc. If there are awards, if you have to involve the media, if there's accommodation, and then the fixture on how the tournament is going to run. As a sports officer, you conduct trainings, I know, for staff in the office, or even some sports. I know most of you are sports enthusiasts. That's why you are the sports officer. In one way or the other, you're playing a sport, or you could have played a sport. So you still find yourself training in the field and training people in the office. Yeah, so that's part of your responsibility. Like now, one of you Desmond reached out to me and asked me if I could provide some training. So it's your responsibility to go around, look around, even look for coaches, look for people who can help you in terms of training your staff or training your teams so that you can achieve your goal. I believe everyone has or everyone wants his institution to win, and you cannot win if you do not invest in terms of technical training or even physical training or even tactical training for your teams. So it's up to you to do that research and find what you can do or what you can do better than the rest so that you can come up a winner. In your role as a sports officer, you need to develop partnerships because you cannot do all these things by yourself. You need management, you need other bodies. For example, the national federations, they have the technical officials who run the sports in the country. If you want to have quality officiating of matches, you may contact the national federation of that sport, for example, football, basketball, volleyball, or any, so that there's no biasness and the quality of officiating is up to the international standards. So you cannot do this if you do not have a good partnership or a relationship with these other bodies. Beside the national federations, National Olympic Committee, sports councils, they also have courses and programs that can benefit you. So, but you see, if you don't have partnerships or your network is not, you don't have any relationship with people in such offices, you may not know what is going on, or you may not even benefit from some of the programs that they run. This cuts across even to the government offices, the sports department, sports fund. They support sports activities. And if you do not know the channels or the processes that you have to undergo through, then you may not tap into that. So it's very important to cast your net wide in terms of your partnership in managing sports or managing sports activities. For you to be able to execute your duty well, you have to look at the resources you have and whatever you want to attain or the goals that you want to achieve. Of course, in terms of resources, we have human people who will support you to help you deliver on the key activities. You need money, and money, you need approval from management or donations or contributions. You need technology. Technology, now the most common technology is social media that you can use also to enhance your job, enhance your capacity, enhance your opportunity to achieve your goals. The information you have is key. As they say, information is power. So if you have information, then you will be able to make the right decisions. The raw material in this case, I would say, is the experience that you have, you as a person, having maybe played the sport or being in that setup. It's you. You are the resource to the organization. And I believe if you win for your organization, you get some recognition, promotion. And I know every institution has their own way of appreciating or recognizing those who've performed well. So performance will be seen in goals, whether your goals, you have attained your goals at the end of the day. And if you've not attained your goals at the end of the day, that's now where you'll go back to your planning process and see where you went wrong or what you didn't do right, that you need to do right the next time, so that can give you the good results. The services you offer as the sports officer in that institution depends on the resources and the knowledge and experience that you have and the networks that you have. I know with good networks, with good experience, information and use of technology, you can make your institution the best in sports among the rest, and they will appreciate you for that. So efficiency and effectiveness, maybe I will stop here and ask someone to tell me the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. I've been talking for quite a long time. Let me stop and have someone tell me the difference between efficiency and effectiveness in your duty or in your role as a sports manager or a sports officer.
I think efficiency is when you have the ability to give some intended result. But when you come to effectiveness, you will give the result, but in a better way. You deliver in more values, and I think you achieve better. You give a better outcome.
Okay, that's good. But in a short form or in a simpler way, you can put it this way, that efficiency is doing the right thing and effectiveness is doing the right things. Doing things right. Doing the right things and doing the right things right. Doing things right. You see, you could be doing things, but you're doing the wrong things.
Sure.
Yeah, and you could be doing things which are not right, and then you will be doing the right things right. Effectiveness is doing the right thing right, and efficiency is doing the right things. So we can continue. So I believe all of you have heard of this planning tool called SWOT analysis. When you are planning, you need to use a tool that can help you achieve your goal effectively. So whatever is on the screen is what we call the SWOT analysis tool that is used to weigh or gauge both your internal and external environment and the advantages that you could have and the disadvantages that you could have. So while planning, you need to, first of all, look internally, look at your organization, what strength you have, anything that you can, things that you can rely on, or things that gives you an edge in terms of what you want to do. Yeah. That makes you competitive. For example, you want to host an event and there are 2 or 3 institutions that also want to do the same. So you would look at, you're competing in hosting. So you'd look at your institution and say, in my institution, the strength that we have 3 football fields or 4 football fields that can be used. So if there are many activities, all these activities can go on at the same time. Unlike maybe another institution, maybe they only have a field or 2. So that would be a strength in terms of strength. Again, in terms of experience, expertise, you've done it before, that is a strength. You are up to the challenge because it's something you've done, and the reports that came out or the results that were achieved were good. So that's a strength. Another strength would also be in terms of accessibility, the location, or even the budget. You may be supported in the budget, and some institution may not have that ability to support the sports activity budget. So those are some of the things that you would even consider as a strength. Even working personnel, even parking, as we had said, even sanitary or sanitation, cleanliness, accessibility, security, such kind of things. So that is internal. The internal, again, you'd look at the negatives or the weaknesses that you have. Yeah, the gaps that you need to fill to make your, that can make you not achieve or attain your goal as you would wish. So these are like, maybe you don't have enough experience, you don't have enough people to do it. Maybe your area is insecure. Maybe they need accommodation and you do not have enough dormitories. You do not have enough facilities, you don't have equipment, you're not able to get like the technical officials, or you don't even have money to provide, pay for awards, and probably one of the regulations of hosting is that you have to give awards to, to the winners or to people who are taking part. I may also want to ask you guys if Kenya Association of Technical Training Institutes is a registered body.
It is registered.
Registered under the Sports Act?
I think Ministry of Education.
Ministry of Education. So, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That does not qualify you to get funding from Ministry of Sports. So for you to qualify for getting funding from the Ministry of Sports, you may think of, conducting elections and putting into office a group that can now champion your interests and rights outside the institutions. Okay, so that's a weakness that you need to, for you to be able to benefit in sports issues like any other person participating in sports or any other organization that is participating in sports in Kenya. You need to be registered, but I believe you can still get your funding through Ministry of Education. But if you are to go wider, then you'll have to, maybe pay a visit to the registrar so that you can get forms and, follow the requirements that are stipulated and then come up with an organization. Externally, you'd be looking at opportunities. These are things that you can exploit, or the benefits that you can get as a company or as an organization or as a department, to to enhance your role or enhance your objective of growing sports or improving on sports in your organization. Yeah. And threats are also external. Threats are more of weaknesses, things that might not give you a conducive opportunity or ability to do what you want to do in terms of achieving your objectives or your yearly plans or activities. I know every year as a department, you sit down and budget and plan for activities and, so that you achieve your objectives. So that's a tool that you can use, because when you present to your management, when you have an activity, these are the areas that questions will arise from. And if you're not prepared, or if you don't take note, then your idea might not, go far. So as you plan your yearly calendar of activities, planning your budget, anything that you do for your department, of course, anything that involves other people, other forces outside, you may find this tool useful for you. I know there are more tools, but I just thought it wise to share this one, which is commonly used and understandable. So as an officer, you are a manager, and for you to be effective in your role, these are some of the issues that you may, some of the practices that you may need to think about or follow in order to make your job a success. Sometimes, I don't know whether you work, some people work below you. It's important that you know how they work, their styles of work. There are people who want to be followed. There are people who don't want to be followed when they are assigned tasks. There are people who would like to communicate via emails, not face-to-face. There are people who like to communicate face-to-face. There are people that you may have to talk to. You may have to talk to for them to understand. So as a manager, you need to know how to delegate effectively. If you have a task, break it down into silos and delegate, because sometimes if you just assign tasks which are not specific, which are not clear, you may end up not getting exactly what you wanted. So break down tasks and make follow-ups. Yeah. You may also need to talk to other managers in your similar position, how they do things, how they conduct, their jobs, or how they tackle certain issues, which I believe are quite similar across the board. You need also to balance independence and oversight with your employees. The people who like to work by themselves, and the people who would like to be followed for them to do whatever they need to be done. So you need to understand your employees, you need to understand your peers, you need to know, for you to be effective, because at the end of the day, you are fighting to achieve a goal or an objective. And if you have people around you who are supporting you and you do not know how they work, and most of the things are time-bound, you may find yourself not within the timelines that you probably could have set in place. It's good to have a discussion in your department or in your section or with your peers, like such a forum. It's always good to have discussions on what strengths and weaknesses, on what areas that you need to improve on, areas that you are strong on, that you need to put more emphasis on, so that your strengths continue to be a win for you. In terms of communication as a manager, you need to establish clear channels how you communicate with your staff members, your seniors or your juniors. You know, it has to be clear on how you do your communication, whether it's meetings, whether it's emails, and if it is meetings, what period, after what period of time, you know, how to conduct your meetings, just to have you as a team being aligned in terms of achieving the goal or the objective of the department. We talked about budgeting and accountability or reporting. As a manager, you have to be accountable in whatever way. Any little activity, you need to be reporting back. You need to write a report. If it is money, you need to file returns and back it up with receipts. Because if you, as a manager, you are not accountable, even your juniors will not be accountable. And for you to succeed as a manager, for you to, you know, perform well in your role, you have to be, you know, you have to be accountable for the resources that you have or that are assigned to you. Try and give feedback frequently. And the feedbacks, try to have constructive feedbacks. And you cannot give a constructive feedback if you do not take your time to, you know, understand or keenly look into whatever work that has been done or behaviors that you are seeing, you know. So, and this calls you as a manager not to rush in making a decision. When you have to give a feedback, please have your facts right, do your research well, and so that when you're giving your feedback, you have data or enough evidence to back whatever you're saying. As a manager, you don't rely on hearsay. You know, you're not supposed to be abrupt in terms of your decisions, or even be accused of rumor mongering. So next is having good working relationship with your peers, with your staff, or with your seniors, because everything depends on how well you relate with each other. If your social skills are not good enough, you need to work on them so that your relationship, you know, relationship matters a lot in terms of achieving your goal. Remember, you're competing with other departments for you to be able to achieve your objective as a department and then as an institution. So you are competing for scarce resources. So unless you have good feedback, unless you have good accountability, unless you are accountable, unless you work well with your staff, then it may be difficult for you. You have to lead by example. No, they say you can't preach water and drink wine, so you have to lead by example. You have to show good leadership. You have to commit. You have to be motivated. You know, you have to show that it's important, whatever you're doing, so that the rest of your juniors can also take it as important as you take it. Because sometimes as a department, if you don't take your work seriously, or if you don't lead by example, for example, coming late, not giving feedback, not giving back reports, not being accountable, you have to lead by example so that the rest can also, do the same. You also need to be constantly seeking for advice from your former supervisors or people you've worked with before. Sometimes you may not have an answer, or most of the time you may have seen somebody doing something nice or doing it well, executing their duty or their jobs in a manner that you'd also want to emulate or follow. So have people who've done whatever you're doing, people whom you can rely on, people you can call upon to help you make decisions, or people who can, train you. Yeah, as it said, human beings, you can never be an island. You perform better with a group, and you perform better with people who've done whatever you're doing before, so that you do not have to invent new ways of doing things that have been done. You can only, ask and then fine tune it to your situation or to your organization. Teamwork is always important. Encourage people to work as a team, be a team player, because you cannot achieve anything by yourself. You need a team around you. You need people to support what you're doing. You need people to share in your vision. You need people who can help you execute as you would want, as you'd want them to assist you, or as you want, your department or your team to perform. Conflict is a major issue in anywhere people are. People will always have conflicts, but it depends on how you handle the conflict. It's good always to listen to both sides of the conflict and then make a determination. It's not good just to make a determination or a decision based on one side. And it's always also good to wait for people to bring the complaint to you, because sometimes you may rush to solve a problem and then you are seen as taking sides. So as a manager, you have to be very careful when you resolve a conflict. And conflicts are almost similar. That's the reason why you need to be in touch with your maybe former supervisors or somebody who is above you, or somebody who's been in a similar position, how they handle such situations. I think my last point, which is not last in being an effective manager, there are more examples and more ways to be, but I just listed a few. Most people tend to forget that they are separate from their jobs, or tend to forget that the two are they're different. That you and your job are two different entities. My power is about to go. I think this should be one of the last presentations. So what I was saying is you have to learn how to separate priorities. Your employer's priorities and your priorities. You do not put your priorities before the employer's priorities, depending on the objective and the mission or the goal that is at hand. Sometimes people bring in personal issues at job and end up interfering with the priorities of your employer. So please try as much as possible as a manager to differentiate this. And this also comes in when we say lead by example. You cannot tell your juniors or your peers not to do something wrong, and yet you're doing that. You are the perpetrator of that kind of behavior. So it's important that you be able to differentiate what is work and what is personal. Any question on that? Or any question up to that far that we've reached?
I come from KCITI.
Say again?
Kenya Christian Industrial Training Institute.
Okay.
So I had a question.
Please, go ahead.
Now, as a sports officer,
yes,
you could be a person who is committed in doing the work.
Yes.
But what if at some point you realize that most of the planning you do, most of the events maybe you plan, and maybe the facilitation you need is not well accommodated by your management or your seniors? What is the best course of action?
That's a very important question, and it happens a lot, not only in sports. Remember, I said that as a department, you're competing, or as an institution, departments are competing for scarce resources. And the only way, or some of the ways that you can, be effective in your competition with other departments, because you want your activities, to go as planned, or to achieve your objective of maybe developing the sports or running a sports calendar activities throughout the year successfully. Number one, I said your relationship with the management has to be good. The information that you provide, the planning that you put in place, the strength, or how the company or the organization or the institution is going to benefit from those activities, or that activity has to be properly and clearly explained. More so, how you relate with the management really matters a lot, because sometimes you can explain everything, but still somebody will tell you there's no money. So it's about your networks, it's about your relationship, it's about how clear you are explaining these and the results that you already have on the ground. It's always good to use facts to explain your points, or or facts to help support whatever goal that you want to achieve. But if you take your time to think around it, look at the benefits, look at how you can maybe save costs to the institution, because everybody wants to see value. There's never enough money. Yeah. Maybe there's a social problem within the college, and the problem is out of people not being well, committed in terms of sports, So it's upon you. You understand your environment well, you understand your institution well, you know their financial position, yeah. But I know what makes the big difference is your relationship with the management, and the history, and the results that you've posted before. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I'm getting your point. Thank you.
And it's not, I don't think there is a standard or a clear answer to that. It depends on many things. Some are tangible, some are intangible, some are resource-based, some are just social, connections and understanding. And if you're able to show results, yeah, or back the facts that you are putting forth, but you have to be on the side of the management, and they have to see the value. Thank you. Any other concern? Any other question?
I can still ask another question.
Please go ahead, as many as you want.
Thank you. So listening to you, I personally feel like you really have so much experience, especially in the field of sports and management, and you're widely traveling in terms of going to manage sports, overseeing something. I wanted to know whether, as at from this point, is there a way you can be able to help either one of us or some of us who want to be a referee somewhere, or to oversee sports at a certain point, and we do that as a career also?
I think there are two ways to go about it. Number one, you can learn. Maybe there are sites that you can learn on how to be a referee, but that might not take you beyond Kenya. That might just confine you to the local events, or or activities. But again, that will give you a platform when now you join. The best way to do it is to join a federation, work with the federation. If you are in football, you have to work with KFF or FKF. It's good when you started being a referee. You've done a few, or you've done a lot of local, activities or refereeing. Then you enlist with them as a referee. FIFA has courses or has seminars that they call people to participate and be graded or be certified to be national, based on the category, being national, I think regional, national, and international referee. So, for example, if you want to be a referee with football, you must engage with FKF. All I can do is to find out if it is football, you can let me know which federation. If it is football, if it is basketball, if it is whatever it is, I can always get a contact person that can maybe help you with the information in terms of registration and maybe when and how exams are done, because you cannot just do it like that. You have to go through exams, and you have to do it through a national federation which is affiliated to an international federation which will recognize your license or your level of officiating. Different sports have different ways of doing it, and they have different levels and times of conducting exams or yes, I think exams or grading. Which sport are you interested in?
More specifically, football.
Yeah, football. So, are you in touch with the FKF in any way?
No, I'm not in touch, but I have a team that plays in the sub-county league. I participate as a player.
So what you need to do, whenever you go to play, whenever there is a tournament, there is always a FKF. They have people to the grassroots, branch manager, call them branch manager or branch chairman or something, treasurer, secretary. So it's through them that they can forward your name, or yes, they can forward your name to the national office. That are you refereeing at the moment?
No.
So you need to start. You need to start refereeing so that people can know that you are a referee or you want to be a referee. They cannot certify you. How are you going to do the exams if you've not done it? So it's good to start doing it so that people can know that you can do it. And then when there's an opportunity to be graded or to be tested, then you go for the test. Because it would not work for you if you just wake up and go for a test and yet you've not, done it practically. It's good you start doing it practically, get the experience, get to know what is being tested on, so that you can prepare well. I think that's I believe the best way to go about it. Any other concern? Kuna maswali?
Mr. Desmond, he's quiet. Maybe you can say something.
Desmond, is he still in?
Yes, I'm in.
Leta maswali. Have I addressed? Now let me ask this: have I addressed your concerns?
Yes.
Or you had expected something different?
You have addressed.
Basically, our concerns as sports officers in terms of managing the events or even the competitions have been addressed. Although we have some other issues that we are facing as sports officers, like the question that Mr. George has asked about how can one progresses to being maybe a referee, a coach, or even a technical person. Because at our level and at our affiliation, that is the Kenya Association of Technical Training Institutions, most of us as sports officers doesn't have the formal training in terms of managing these sporting activities. And I'm very happy because of the insights that you have shared, because most of our issues comes about because of lack of information. So I expected my team, because this is the first time they are interacting with you, to be having so many questions to ask. Thank you.
Okay. It's okay. Let me say this. There are two or three things that you need to know. As a country at the moment, we do not have a coaching structure that an individual can go through and be certified as a coach, except through a national federation. But me and my company, Sports Wave Africa, we are trying to come up with a structure, trying to come up with courses that can help coaches, because as you've rightfully observed, I have a lot of experience in terms of sports management in Kenya and international. And that is one of the areas that I have observed, that as Kenya, we do not have a coaching structure that can help our coaches to advance their knowledge and skill in terms of coaching. So that's why we've come up with such a program to help educate and develop coaching skills among the coaches in our country. So you can all share if you are coaches, you can share your numbers on the chat. I can add you to a group where we have, we periodically have sessions for coaches, various topics, various issues. We share periodicals there, people read. Yeah. And we organize for such talks. Some are more specific to coaching. Some are general, like the one we are having. Yeah. And it's good Desmond reached out. Desmond, I believe, has attended quite a few of whatever we've been doing. And we are ready to support you in any way we can, give you information on how you can grow in your respective fields and how you can grow your technical knowledge. We have a website where such recordings will be shared. You can view or look at them anytime you want. The only thing that I'm not sure about whether you can download it, but it's on YouTube. Everything that we do is on YouTube, and it's there to be shared for free. So that's an area that is of concern to some of us, and we've come up. We have a team that is working on various, courses that are sports geared in terms of developing the technical ability or technical know-how of our coaches. The only path that you can use as it is in Kenya now is through a federation. And the only way you can get into a federation is through participation in those branches, yeah, or clubs, yeah. In fact, if you can find a club within your area, or you can make a team, you can form a team to participate in the leagues, the various federation leagues like volleyball. I know, but it's if your institution is able to support you to participate in the maybe Kenya National League, volleyball league, maybe basketball or whatever. But you can only be relevant if you work with the federation. If the federation knows you're doing something, and then you offer yourself to either coach a club referee. Yeah, I think it's referee and coaching, and then even a branch official to coordinate the sports activities in that area. So that's how you get to get information from the mainstream and then bring it back to your institution and also to develop yourself as a person. So
Yes.
so you
And
can share. You can share your number. You can share your number. We'll add you to a group of coaches across Africa so that whenever we have a seminar, we'll always send the link. If you have time, you can join. We also have a Facebook page where we post all sports activities, updates, moves, various rules of sports that you can as well also get information from. I can see Timothy Kinyo's hand is up, but I'm seeing a lady's face. Timothy, you can continue. Go ahead. Timothy, you are on mute.
The issue of certification, because now if you tell us to start another league and coaching so that now we can be able to join the federation, and yet we are running the institution teams, I think unless you guys try to assist us on how you can train us as CATI sport officers, and then we can find the way of how you can be able to certify that we qualify to get the certificates.
Yes, Timothy, the structure that is in place at the moment, the structure that can work for you at the moment is through the federation. And that's what I started by saying, that as a country, we do not have structures that can really help individuals across the board beside the national federations, because as per the constitutions, the national federations are the ones that are in conjunction with the international federations, with the International Olympic Committee, the owners of the rules and regulations of the game. So there's no any other system that you can use beside the national federations. And that does not stop you from running, your institution sports activities. Yeah, you can be involved in both. Yeah, as a coach, as a referee, I've seen there are many teachers who have come through the system like that. There are people who just were running community clubs. There are people from the university who are part of the federations. Yeah, I know of a guy from KU, Strathmore University. It's only that the colleges, maybe sports association is not that strong, but with the time, this is my personal advice. If you want to make any meaningful progress in terms of your profession as a sports person, you have to come through the federation. The Ministry of Sports has nothing in place to help coaches, as far as I know, to grade, to develop, even to teach. So through National Olympic Committee, it's being done, but National Olympic Committee only takes care of Olympic sports. So if your sport is an Olympic sport, like volleyball, like football, and through the federation, there are scholarships that comes. There are scholarships that sometimes are sent out, and they come through the federation. They cannot come through a college or even the university. They come through the federation. So if the federation has a member who they feel is qualified or whom they want to support in terms of their technical development, they will share that scholarship with them. So try as much as possible to align, do whatever you do, but align with the federation. Be part and parcel of their branches, whether it's a branch, whether it's a county, whether it's a national, or a club. For you to come into those, maybe branch or county, you have to start from a club. You must be affiliated to a club that will now maybe send you as a delegate, to the next level and then to the next level. And if you are good, if you're committed to your sport, definitely you will rise. You will come to the top.
Thank you.
You see, this is me. I'm doing this as an individual. I'm not doing it as a government or National Olympic Committee. Yeah. So whatever materials that I share with you it's my own initiative. But I wish I had a platform where I could maybe set up a policy to help everybody across the board. Any other concern?
Good evening.
Evening to you. Who is speaking?
This is Raston Koech from Gatundu South.
Okay, Koech.
Yes, my concern is the way as you have given us this information.
Yeah.
Maybe my request is that we can even have a physical training whereby we can be trained on these skills, specifically for different coaching and even refereeing before we move to the federation. So if we organize a day as the region, will it be possible for your team to come and train us on some skills?
Yeah, we can always arrange. We can always agree on a day and a date and time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe what you guys need most is information first, how you can navigate your way, to a point where your profession or your passion gives value to people and to you.
Okay.
Right. But share your contacts. Share your contacts. We'll add them to a group where we share information with coaches, and then other coaches, actually the National Federation coaches, but it's across the board. Any coach who is interested, whenever there's a webinar like this, we share the link, and whoever is free can join, just to learn, get to know whatever is going on, whatever skill that you can learn, new skill that you can learn, and take back to your job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Dunston is called Dunston. Our friend
Raston.
Desmond has my personal number. In case I did also share my number, in case you want to reach out, you can reach out, and we can always work out something for the benefit of us all. Sawa sawa. Or somebody, Kinyo, is your hand still up, or you've not lowered it?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to mention something. I could not get where to raise up my hand. Mine is to commend you for the elaborate information that you have received. I don't know if you are getting it because
you are low, but
I'm on the road.
You are low. Just raise your voice a little bit.
I'm saying I'm on the road.
Oh, you're on the road.
I've been following, and I want to commend you. Yeah, I want to commend you for the elaborate presentation which we've had. And as you have mentioned already, we need more information even before we go to practical skills. We need to be informed so that we know where to start and where to get what. And it will help our networking skills as well, I believe so. So I take this opportunity to appreciate your time and what you've shared with us, as well as to tell our APO secretary, thank you for this planning. Let it not be the first and the last. Let's have many more of the same. We see easier through internet and actually than the physical one, because the physical one will involve our superiors endorsing the same, unlike today. So wish you well, and I appreciate a lot. It was a learning session. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I will share a link through Desmond. You can give me your reviews and maybe probably comment on what you would want to see next. Yeah. So, or I can create a separate group for you, but I will be sharing links so that there's no much interference in terms of what you don't need, getting what you don't need. Yeah.
That will be in order.
Yeah.
If we get a separate group.
Yes, so that you're not bogged up with things that does not concern you. All right. Sawa. I hope also thank you guys much for showing up and for your contribution, deliberations. And I hope to see you again. Share your concerns with Desmond. And we can always arrange for something. Of course, we are busy, but can always make time for such, it's good to share. It's good to share. Yeah, I might think that whatever I'm sharing is not important, but to you, it could make a lot of difference because I don't know what you really need, but I have a lot of information with me. Yeah, but through sharing, you might get something that can, make a lot of difference or impact to you as a person or to your organization or sports management. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good evening.
Thank you for your presentation. And have
Good
a
evening too.
evening
Okay,
too.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Good day.
Thank you.
Karibu.